Today in class, you did some angles of rotation by physically turning your body to different number of degrees. We're going to take that concept and apply it now to the coordinate plane. So recall that an angle in general from geometry class is made up of two rays that share a common endpoint. So in this class, our common endpoint is always going to be at the origin, and one of our rays is always going to sit along the x-axis pointing off to the right. And this ray is called the initial side of our angle, our starting side. It will always just sit right there. Now our other side of our angle is going to be the side that turns or rotates. If we turn counterclockwise, it's considered a positive number of degrees. So that right there is positive 180. Or if I rotate clockwise, a negative number of degrees, like negative 180, positive 180 and negative 180 are considered coterminal because they land in the same spot. This side that rotates, whether it's positive or whether it's negative, is called the terminal side, where it terminates or ends rotating. Now we're going to introduce one more important vocabulary word here called a reference angle. A reference angle has to be a positive number of degrees, and it has to be an acute angle, so something less than 90 degrees. And what it does is it measures the angle between the terminal side and the x-axis. Always the x-axis. So up on my picture here, I've labeled my terminal side right there. My x-axis is right here. And my reference angle is this degrees, this angle in between the terminal side and the x-axis. Now notice why I wouldn't put my reference angle over on the right side of the terminal side from here to here, because then my reference angle would not be acute, and we need it to be acute. So let's talk about these vocabulary words and these terms with some actual numbers. So I've already got my initial side drawn, and now I'm going to take my terminal side and rotate it 200 degrees. So here's 90, 180, and then 20 more lands me down in the third quadrant. So that 20 more that I just went past the x-axis, that's actually going to end up being my reference angle. And then just to review coterminal angles, if I rotated positive 200 to land there, that means I could have landed there by going a shorter route. I could have went negative, and if I'm 20 degrees short of the 180 mark, that means I'm at negative 160. Let's try another one. There's my initial side drawn. Here comes my terminal side. This time I'm going to rotate 330 degrees. So there's 90, 180, 270, and then 60 more will land me right about there. So that rotation of 330 degrees lands me in the fourth quadrant, and my reference angle is right in here. That angle that's between the terminal side and the x-axis. So it looks like I am 30 degrees short of going full circle, of going 360. So that means my reference angle is going to be 30 degrees. And if I wanted coterminal, instead of going positive 330 degrees, I could have taken my initial side and just rotated it negative 30 and would have landed in that same spot. So negative 30 and positive 330 are coterminal. One more. There's my initial side. And let's take our terminal angle terminal side and rotate it 125 degrees. So there's 90, and we'll estimate that about 35 more. So we have just rotated 125 degrees. So our reference angle between where that angle ended and to get us over to the x-axis here is going to be how many degrees short of 180? Well, 180 take away 25 degrees means this reference angle in here has to be 55 degrees. And then that reference angle will, of course, then help us to figure out our coterminal angle real easily. Instead of going positive 125, I could have went this way, negative 90, 180, and then 55 more would be negative 235 degrees for coterminal to 125.